Hey everyone, it's Nicole again, and I am here to film my first Top 5 Wednesday. If you don't know what Top 5 Wednesday is, I'll leave a link down below so you can check it out. The topic this week is 5 books that took you forever to read. So I have a mixture of books that I enjoyed and that took me a while, and ones that I didn't like and that's why it took me a while. So I will start with this one. So this one is A Feast for Crows by George R. R. Martin, and this is the 4th book in the A Song of Ice and Fire series. I read these about 5 years ago, right when the show first started, and I flew through the first 3. I loved them. I read them in maybe like a week each, which they're really long books, so that's pretty fast. And this one, I think it took me about a year to get through. And I actually haven't read the 5th one because I really didn't like this one. I started trying to read the 5th one and I just don't really like his writing that much. And so the 4th and 5th books are split in half. It's like the same events, it's just the characters are split into 2. And the 4th one has all the characters I don't really like. And even though the 5th one has all the characters I do like, I was so tired of reading his writing after this that I kind of stopped. I keep saying when there's a release date for the 6th book, I'll read the 5th one. Hasn't happened yet, so I haven't read it yet. If you don't know what Game of Thrones is, who are you? Google it? Yeah. Alright, and the next one is a book that I did like a lot, and that is A Manual for Cleaning Women by Lucia Berlin. I read this for a class, and we only had to read like a third of it, but I ended up reading all of it because I really liked it. And this is a collection of short stories, and Lucia Berlin was this really interesting woman who lived all over the place. She lived in like the Midwest and South America for a while, and all her stories are like about that a lot. And she also had a really big alcohol issue, and she went to rehab a couple of times, and she was also raising 4 boys. So she had a super interesting life, and she writes about that. And her short stories are all like pretty short. I say most of them are like 3 pages. There are a couple that are like closer to 20. But her writing was just so beautiful, and most of them are in first person, and you just kind of really get absorbed into the story. And so even the 3-page stories took me like a little while to read because they were so beautiful, and I just wanted to enjoy my time there. So if you haven't read this book, or if you have been looking for a short story collection to read, I definitely recommend this one. It also has a foreword by Lydia Davis, who's a really good writer. And the next one is a recent read. I had it in my September wrap-up, actually, and that is The Drum Tower by Farnoosh Moshiri. I won't talk about this too much because I feel like I've been talking about it forever. I read this book very slowly. I think it took about a month, mostly because it was really sad and nothing good was happening to the main character, and I kept pushing it off for reading other things because I just didn't want to feel sad. And the next one I have is a collection of poetry, and this is a poet who's from the Bay Area. I've actually read into her at readings a couple of times, and that is The Complete Purge by Trisha Lowe. This one is a very experimental and like genre-bending collection of poetry, and I've never really read anything like that. I usually read poetry pretty quickly because I just love it and I just want to like eat it all up. But this one took me a little while, and it's not too long. But she does a lot of really interesting things. The first part are a bunch of wills that she writes at different periods of her life. So she has one when she's like 13, and then 16, and 25, and just like, it's interesting to see how the things that are important to her change. And then there's like a really long little story that's told over text, but it's interlaid with another story. So even though there wasn't too many words on each page, you really had to concentrate to focus on everything. Yeah. So if you are looking for some experimental poetry, Trisha Lowe is your girl. And she also has a lot of really good nonfiction, like essays and stuff about music and race. Yeah. And it also has beautiful hot pink inner pages, which are super bright and were really fun when I was reading on the bus. And the last book I have is the Sandman Overture by Neil Gaiman, and this is a beautiful, beautiful book. So beautiful. So this is a sort of prequel to the Sandman series, which is about the character of Sandman who can go in your dreams. I've only read the first volume of the Sandman series, so I kind of probably missed a lot of the stuff in the prequel, but I would say this of the rest of the first volume of Sandman that I read. He is such a detailed writer, and him and his artists, like, they really just take up the whole page. So you don't want to just fly through it, you know. Even if there's not too much dialogue, you really want to focus on everything. And it's just like, especially this one, it's really beautiful, and there's so many great colors. I like try to show a page. But it was just a really beautiful book. And I just took my time because I wanted to enjoy it. Oh, here's a good one. So some weird melting lady. Okay, now I'm just looking through the book while on camera. So yeah, those are the 5 books that took me a long time to read. Let me know if there's any books that you've taken a long time to read, either for good or bad reasons. And let me know if you liked any of those books or didn't like them. And hopefully I'll see you soon with another video. Thanks, bye.